yangu. Jambo. Jambo. Hivi hago. Asante sana. Na asante sana mtazamaji kwa kuungana nasi. Kipindi ni Michakato Majimboni. Tunashughulikia ama kuangazia swala la uongozi na uhusiano uliopo kati ya uongozi na vile unavyoendesha maisha yako ya kila siku, huku tukizunguka majimbo tofauti kuangazia haya maswala. Wiki hii tumekita kambi katika jimbo la Murang'a. Murang'a muriokuo. Karibu kwa Michakato Majimboni.
Jimbo la Murang'a liko katika mkoa wa Kati nchini Kenya. Jimbo hili limezingirwa na majimbo manne likiwemo jimbo la Nyeri upande wa kaskazini, jimbo la Nyandarua upande wa magharibi, jimbo la Kiambu upande wa kusini na jimbo la Kirinyaga upande wa mashariki. Mji mkuu katika jimbo hili ni mji wa Murang'a. Jimbo hili lina maeneo bunge 7 yakiwa ni Kandara, Kigumo, Maragwa, Kangema, Kiharu, Mathioya na Gatanga. Mapato ya jimbo hili hutokana na ukulima na machimbo ya mawe ya ujenzi. Kulingana na uchunguzi uliofanywa mwaka wa 2010, jimbo la Murang'a lina jumla ya watu 942,581. Jimbo hili lina shule 500 za msingi. Wanafunzi wa shule ya msingi ni 196,650 na kuna mwalimu mmoja kwa kila wanafunzi 50. Shule za upili ni 106. Wanafunzi wa shule za upili ni 47,691. Vyuo vya masomo ya juu ni 12 kikiwemo chuo cha walimu cha Murang'a na chuo cha teknolojia cha Murang'a. Eneo hili lina hospitali 3 za wilaya. Kuna madaktari 34 na kuna daktari mmoja kwa kila watu 30,000. Haya ni baadhi ya mambo yatakayozungumziwa katika kipindi hiki siku ya leo.
Na mtazamaji, karibu tena kwa Michakato Majimboni. Tuko katika jimbo la Murang'a kuangazia masuala ya uhusiano ulipo kati ya maisha ama namna unavyoendesha maisha yako ya kila siku na uongozi. Karibu sana kwa Michakato Majimboni. Asante sana. Na mtuangazie kuhusu Murang'a County in totality. What is there to know more about Murang'a County?
Murang'a County is an agricultural area. We have unutilized resources. It is also the origin of Agikuyu. We have been facing challenges on youth discrimination, among others, minority and marginalized group. We have also been faced by poor leadership within the county, and we have also not utilized the human resources to the maximum.
Which resources are these you're talking about, and why are we not utilizing them?
We have coffee, and we can see instead of our coffee being produced or milled in this area, there are millers who from outside who come and utilize it, take our coffee and go to mill and other places.
When we look at Murang'a, we have very many rivers which are not well utilized. Again, we have the youth who are here who are not given or layers empowered to do a lot of work which they can do.
Murang'a County was once an example of good education. Today, we have gone down, all the way down to almost a pathetic position. The leaders have not taken the opportunity to make sure that our education standards become better.
Ni nini haswa ambacho kimetendeka? There were those happy years, good years, but now, as you say, the education standards ziko chini. Why are we having this situation?
Parents have not been encouraging their children as far as education matters are concerned. So, if only our leaders were to organize seminars for the parents, to organize workshops, and even do better and encourage our pupils in the form of gifts, they should also motivate the teachers. If only the teachers were motivated, then we are sure that our education standards would be better.
Is motivation the only issue as to why we have falling education standards?
We had a good relationship between the school administration, that is teachers and all the staff, and parents, and also the political leadership. But this time, I think there is no goodwill. We don't have these three groups working together. Number two, I think the level of poverty.
We don't have mentors back, especially those who left their schools and did very well. They don't go back to those schools so that they can be mentors to the children. Because the people that we are having in the surrounding society, most of them have gone to illicit. Bruce, vijana wameenda kwa zile vikundi ambazo zimekataliwa. So those children, they don't have somebody to mentor them.
Murang'a is an endowed county. It has good history. For instance, the struggle for independence, the Mau Mau movement started in Murang'a County. But of course, we have several challenges. We have a major challenge in unemployment of the youth. And of course, the issue of infrastructure. Although we have some...
But before we go into infrastructure, I want us to dig deeper into this issue of education.
What has contributed to that is mainly poverty. Because the families are poor enough. One, they cannot afford school fees for their children. And in some cases, you find that if a family, particularly the mothers who are within the rural areas, want to supplement their income, they would probably go out and want to use some of the labor from their children to supplement the family income. In the last exams, we did not do very well, particularly in the primary sector. We were probably among the 10 from the bottom.
Let me ask, how much emphasis are we laying on education as parents from Murang'a County? Or
there have been the emergence of the illicit brews, the joining of various groups, and this is not creating any good picture to these children. You know, when a father starts drinking and he comes home, he pays very little attention to the kids, that is. So what happens is, at the long run, the parents don't see whether these kids will ever go any better.
Mimi nimesomea shule fulani na mtoto wangu nimemzaa na ameenda kwa hiyo shule. The same school ambayo mimi nilisomea. Na mwalimu ambaye alinifundisha business education, saa hii anafundisha mtoto wangu social ethics. Mwalimu ambaye alikuwa ananifundisha mimi wakati ule, kuna maneno alikuwa ananiambia vile masomo ni muhimu, vile nitakuwa mtu mzuri nikimaliza masomo. But wakati nimaliza KCP yangu, nikaenda high school, huo mwalimu hatujaonana tena. Na mzazi wangu naye kunimaliza kunipeleka form 4. Baada ya hapo aliamini nimesoma. Mtoto wangu ameingia kwa ile shule. Mwalimu ambaye alikuwa anifundisha, ameshaangalia matunda ya kazi yake, haoni. Akiangalia the whole village, watu ambao walipass with A's. Sote tuko hapo tu. Hatujaendelea, tumefika kuzaa, hatujaendelea. Tumempelekea watoto wetu sasa, ambao ni wajukuu wake, na wafundishe. Mwalimu wengi wakakuwa ni walevi. Hata unashindwa utapeleka mtoto shule hiyo afundishe nini?
You can imagine we don't have a special schools. We have been doing some research since 2008. Kuna special schools, these are watoto, these vulnerable children. And those kids, they are living in a very bad quality. For example, they don't have special teachers. Okay, others they don't have facilities to at least ya kuwasomesha. Okay, sasa ni lazima we must work hard to reach that international levels of special education.
Murang'a County have turned out to be the laboratory for the illicit brews. We don't have the role models. The life of a child between the age of 1 year to 5 years is very critical for a student developmental milestone. Some of the other challenges in this county is the infrastructure.
What about infrastructure? What is it, good or bad?
The infrastructure in Murang'a County is wanting.
One of the things that we are very much concerned about is the health sector. Because if you do not have a healthy population, then you cannot talk about using these people economically. You'll be using a lot of your resources towards now curative kind of medicine. In Murang'a County, we do not have enough medical facilities, neither do we have enough qualified staff to handle now the medical issues.
If you go down in the villages, you'll find that the money that is brought down by the government, meant to help the community, is being misused by our leaders. There comes in the issue of poor leadership. We have been electing leaders who are not accountable, leaders who are not honest.
Amongst the issues we've discussed, which issues do you feel are those priority issues that need to be addressed by our leaders?
As far as human resource and economic empowerment of our people is concerned, this is the most serious point we should, as leaders should address and address immediately.
Which is the other issue that need to be addressed as a priority
So
by?
much. I think education should be given the first priority.
Okay, which other issue should be a priority?
Civic education, so that when we are electing leaders, we elect the right leaders. That's our main major problem.
Alright, many thanks. Asante sana kama umeungana nasi kwa wakati huu natazama Michakato Majimboni. Tuko katika jimbo la Murang'a kuangazia masuala ya uongozi, uhusiano uliopo kati ya uongozi na maisha ya kila siku na some of the challenges that are as a result of poor leadership, poor education in this region, a key issue, poor economic empowerment. When we come back, we look at what needs to be done to sort out these issues. You can join the debate by sending us a short message, ujumbe mfupi kwa nambari 3002. Ukianza na herufi MFA. Our Facebook page is Michakato Majimboni, just like the page, and put your comment there. For those who are on Twitter, @media_focus. Michakato Majimboni is back in a moment. Naam, karibu tena Michakato Majimboni. Tumekita kambi katika jimbo la Murang'a na awali kuna masuala kadhaa ambayo yamejitokeza kama kero kubwa katika jimbo hili. The education standards are dwindling, the issue of infrastructure, economic growth has been crippled. And what I want us to do now, nataka tuangazie what needs to be done. Ni mambo gani ambayo yanaweza yakafanyika ili, for instance, let's talk about education. What needs to be done so that the education standards, the quality of education in this county is improved?
One, we need to improve the capacity of school governance, both within the committees and even within the teaching staff. We need that capacity raised so that we have better quality of leadership within our schools. If we can tackle the issue of unemployment, economic activities, particularly of the youth, getting tertiary education, getting colleges, getting other opportunities for the youth, so that when one goes through the education system, they pass, they go on and improve their lives. That becomes a role model, a magnet of getting other students out and improving the quality of education.
I would ask the incoming leaders to make sure that the bright pupils, right from class 8, get school fees. If the bright pupils are seen to be continuing with their education, then definitely the others who are below them and the future coming generation are going to pull up their socks.
During my time, a teacher used to be a good role model in the society. Today's teacher, they are also human beings. They are affected by, if we have a problem in illicit brew in Murang'a, teachers are affected. You find teachers hanging out with their students, and even people sometimes taking those illicit brews. Also, teachers in Murang'a, they are involving in business. They are involving themselves in business. Some of them have private schools and other kind of businesses.
I'm a teacher. I'm an art representative from Murang'a. And walimu tunalipwa vibaya. The other thing, we are parents. Most of us are parents. And I would like to talk to parents. Let's have time for children. Because parents are too busy. We are too busy for our children. We are not there for them.
Management of the school is the paramount importance of education. When we call the management, starting with the head teacher, then the board of governors or the school committee, including the parents, and again calling the role models, those people who passed well in that particular school, to speak to the children or the pupils or the students of those that particular school, improvement is very great. If I may say just a bit, when I was here, I called some who had done well and gone to Alliance. And when they came to school, they talked to the other pupils, and the other pupils who were in standard 6, 7, and 8, they did so well that they were in the paper nationally. They were 36 in the Republic of Kenya, simply because they saw others who did well and went to good schools.
How have the leaders addressed these issues? What should the leaders, or how should these leaders address this issue of poor quality education?
One thing that our leaders need to do is that we need to develop a curriculum. That, of course, through elaborate consultation, through which we should have a kind of a cultural education in our institutions, through which now our children are taught what is the place of a child in the society, through which even these children, when they grow up, they'll be a role model to themselves and to the rest of the society.
Any leader who wants to vie for the Murang'a County, I hope they're listening. One of the most basic things they need to look at is the institutions where our students are studying. They need to look at the institution keenly. And looking at the institution is, some of the things have been mentioned. Let's not only look at the committee. Let's not only look at the issue of books. Let's look closely even to the issue of the students' welfare.
One of the core functions of a good leader is to inspire, to motivate, and to influence. Therefore, you must have good leaders who have the ability to talk to these three pillars of education: the students themselves, the administration, as the teachers, the head teachers, and the education officers, and the parents.
Well done. Let's move to the other issue, a challenge that you mentioned, the issue of economic empowerment. What needs to be done so that we will all develop economically?
Now, if these leaders were to work together and make sure that the agricultural output of Murang'a is processed and then it is sold as a complete product, people will become economically fit.
The youth in Murang'a County, we don't organize ourselves. And like my colleague said here, youth, we need to come up together and force our way to the point of decision making. Because if we talk about the youth fund, we talk about the KKV, the Kazi kwa Vijana, these things were designed by people and without involvement of the beneficiaries. We need to be stakeholders, we need to be there, force ourselves out there in the decision making, such that we can go there, because we know our problems. We theoretically know our problem, but we need now to bridge the gap in the new dispensation and elect one of ourselves, so that we can go there and offer these solutions. Number two, talking about leaders, and we are the one who elect them. I think what we need to do is to praise leadership being a priority challenge or priority number one for the challenges that we are facing here. Talking about education, maybe briefly, I know of a constituency whereby the CDF money was set aside for continuous assessment test, and also some money went to motivating teachers. So if we have to handle these things, we have to look critically to the issue of leaders.
Is there something that we are doing to ensure that without necessarily waiting for the leaders to come and help us out, we are empowering ourselves economically?
I would love to say that youths have now come up. I think it's a high time they're grouping up. They're trying to make up their own projects. I can tell you some of these groups have been receiving much support from the Ministry of Youth. So I believe those youths who are still at home, I believe basic education from class 1 to class 8, or else if you've reached at Form 4 level, I think it's basic good enough education to help build the economic capacity of which our leaders may not be able to bring it down to the ground. So we need to focus also in other sectors that will help us grow.
Well, still on the issue of economic empowerment, it's a good thing that you've mentioned about the youth, and someone from the audience a little earlier mentioned the youth joining illegal groups. How is that affecting economic empowerment in this region?
Mugiki is a proscribed group ambayo watu wanafikiria ni watu wako na mambo yao kando na wananchi hao wengine. Ile kitu watu wanaogopa kutoka kwa hao watu. They feel ignored by the society. Now that they use some tactics to approach their ego or to air their egos. In some instances, a few years back, walikuwa wana extort some money from the business community, lakini that thing has gone a little bit down, na hiyo ndio ilikuwa ina affect mambo ya biashara kwa sababu some business people side away from investing in Murang'a County. On the issue of the general economic empowerment, we start from the education sector. First, you have to improve the infrastructure concerning the education. Then, the other issue is the interference of the independence of the bodies. One, the teaching body. Second, the management committee. Now comes the politicians. Ndio wana interfere na mambo ya running of the institution, wana influence ni nani watakuwa kwa committee, wana influence ni project gani itapewa pesa. Come to the youth fund. Ndio wana influence ni group gani itapewa pesa. And the rest of the groups are ignored. So if you want to solve the issue of economic empowerment, you have to solve all those problems.
It's unbelievable that Murang'a County is seen and is actually a very rich county. But the truth is, Murang'a County is facing brain drain. Most of the people who are the few, despite having the education system and all the challenges they have, the few that have gotten to that level of being good enough to be around here and improve on the empowerment and the situation here have moved out of Murang'a County. They have gone to most likely Nairobi. Si warudi huku tena wakuje tujenge. Let's come back and invest here. So
why are they leaving?
Because of course it's better outside there. There's a better environment to do business there.
We need to come up with innovative ideas of industrializing the county. We have a lot of agri-based industries that can be invested, that you can attract investors to set up industries here so that we process our raw material, agricultural raw material, process them up to the final level and export them directly, thereby creating jobs for the youth.
Have we had cooperative societies in this region?
Yes, we have cooperative societies.
Are they still in operation?
They are still in operation, but they need their standards and their capacity needs to be improved. For instance, if we have the coffee societies, the processes that they do is basically getting the cherry, then just pulping it, and then selling as parchment. That's it. It is not yet ready to be marketed to the consumer at the table. That way you create a lot of value addition, you create a lot of industries, and thereby you create a lot of jobs for the youth.
We need to employ modern methods of agriculture, like the greenhouses. And also, this youth kit being given to the youth, it is too little. It needs to be added at least to a considerable amount that can start a business that which the young people can live. I would like also the government, the leadership, to come up with at least a project per village through which the youth in that particular village can be empowered economically.
Thank you very much. Unatazama Michakato Majimboni, looking at the issues in Murang'a County at what needs to be done. We take a breather. When we come back, we have an example of an individual who has looked at the natural resources in Murang'a County and has used that to the advantage, or to her and her family's advantage. And in the end, they've been economically empowered. Unatazama Michakato Majimboni. Send us a text message 3002, starting with the letters MFA kwa Facebook, Michakato Majimboni. We are back in not too long. Naam, mtazamaji, unatazama Michakato Majimboni, karibu tena. Unaweza ukaungana nasi kwa SMS ama ujumbe mfupi ukipenda, nambari ni 3002 ukianza na herufi MFA. Tumekita kambi katika jimbo la Murang'a kuangazia masuala ya uongozi na vile uhusiano uliopo kati ya uongozi na maisha yako. Now we have an example of an individual from this particular county. Well, someone mentioned a little earlier, there's plenty, there's a whole lot of resources in this particular region. There's an individual who has looked at that and have taken advantage for their economic empowerment. I'm talking about the rivers here, and they're using the water for irrigation for their economic empowerment. Take a look, then we'll have a discussion from that.
Jina langu ni Jennifer Idera Goge na mimi kazi yangu ni kulima. Nilianza na hii mambo ya kutega maji. Niliona maji ikitiririka kwa barabara. Nikaona kwa vile sina mto karibu, sababu yangu hakuna mto. Nikajaribu vile nitaigiza. Bwana yangu alienda mahali akaja kama story. Akaniambia hivyo hii nilikuwa Thailand, nikaona wakati alikuwa akiniambia, nikakuja nikaanza kushiba mtaro pale. Hakukuwa akiona kama ni kitu muhimu ananiambia, lakini kwa mafikirio yangu nikaona hii mimi naweza fanya.
Wakati tulifika huko Thailand, tulipelekwa area yao wanaita kama hapa kwetu Northeastern Province. A very dry area, ni desert tupu huko, lakini chakula ni kingi sana. Manaka rini wota huko ndio wana harvest. Kukinyesha huko, hiyo maji yote wanaokota na wanajiwekea kama kwa store. Kwa hivyo hata kukaa miaka 5 ile maji wameshaweka, wanarima na hiyo maji all through the year na another year miaka kama 5. Nikafikiria hapa kwetu na tuko na very good area, very good weather, yet hii mjaa kila wakati tuko naye. Wakati nikuja hapa kwangu nikafikiria na nikapatia bibi yangu hiyo story, na ndio tulionelea kwetu nyumbani na familia yetu hatutakuwa tukinunua chakula tena.
Sasa kuanzia hapo nikaanza na horticulture kama sugar snap na fresh beans. Nikatoka kwa hiyo nafanya hiyo na nikaongeza ingine hii ya tissue banana. Watu ya hapa wanaanza kufuata vile nafanya. Hata niko watu wameungana kwa kikundi na wakaniambia niwasaidie. Sasa tuko around 33 people.
Sharede vitu ni Jennifer Idera.
Mwenyekiti wetu ni Jennifer Idera. Sisi hulima kulingana na tunavyofunzwa.
O murimire wothe uria mundu athomete. Tukoragwo tuli gurufu ya
watu wasiopenda kazi huachwa nyuma, lakini kama ni ukosefu wa pesa, sisi husaidiana ili tuinuane. Hatukubali wazembe kati yetu.
Thina wa mbeca ni tuhotaga kumkura jeki, ona kono tukuhinyiririka, ona tuone nake na kindu.
Zamani tulikuwa tukilima kama kitu mahindi hivi. Unajua mahindi utapanda mwaka moja upande mara 2. Hakuna kitu unapata. Kuna watu walikuja hapa kutufundisha kulima. Wengine walikuwa wametoka kwa serikali na wengine ni wa area hii. Sasa wakati wa mvua, watu wengi hawapendi maji ya mvua tiingie kwao ili hata kwa barabara. Sisi hiyo tunataka sana, kwa sababu hata ikikuja ukate fence ikuya ingie, unajua utapata doma kila kitu kutumia na hiyo maji.
Bereni tulikuwa tukifuatilia tu hii majani, wakati hakuna majani watu wanasema hakuna kazi. Na sasa wanaona kazi iko. Hapa hata mboga hakuna mtu ananunua kwa mwingine. Watu wakiwa na chakula hakuna shida lolote inaweza tokea. Na tutakuwa watu wako na mali mingi sana. Shida inaletwa na njaa tu. Kwa vile tukilima tukiwa wengi hakuna wizi inaweza ingia. Na ni baya sana.